And you know how Steppin with Marcus J live from the Den Legacy Internet Radio. Potholes in my lawn. Shout out to the folks that try to bite off our show. That's what potholes are. Potholes in my lawn. You biting. And you know how Steppin Marcus J live from the Den Legacy Internet Radio. Rock with us at 804-402-2893. Y'all rock with us. We rolling with y'all. The flagship show, Legacy Internet Radio, heard every single Monday night from 7 p.m. Eastern until we decide that we done talking and we'll be ready to come back next week. Listen to our show on TuneIn, on Streamer, as well as the replays on YouTube, as well as on iTunes. And you know how Steppin Marcus J is proud, of course, to bring to you the co-host of the show who has just joined us here in studio. Y'all hear her every single week on this show. She's my big sis and yours. Her name is S.Y. Butler. What's up, baby?
What's up, y'all?
What's going on?
Nothing. What's going on?
Chilling, chillaxing.
Hey, happy birthday to Legacy Internet Radio.
Say word. We 3 years
word.
old. We 3 years old.
You want some milk and cookies?
Yeah, we 3 years old. We 3 years old.
She has cookies.
We had 3 years old. What y'all don't know is I put up 4 fingers,
three.
and that's why the crew thought I was clowning. But yeah,
No,
I'm
he
glad
does
you
that
said
for
that.
real, y'all.
I do it on purpose. But you know what's crazy? I'm glad you said that because we didn't say anything about that in the whole first segment. But
What?
I'll say more. I'll say more about it in my rant later on. But yeah, we 3 years old, man. Legacy
We are
in the
3
radio.
years old. Do y'all know I was grinning up a storm like 2.5 years ago when Marcus texted me and was like, yo, hit me up when you get a minute. And I was like, okay. Like, in my head, I was like giggling and Googling and all that kind of jazz. And then he was like, yo, I want you to be the co-host of my show. And I was in my car going, I know. But he didn't know that. And it has been a freaking ball. And I just want y'all to know I am going to tie his laces together tonight. He's got on laces again.
Stay away from me. Don't touch me.
Hi, Hakeem.
You lucky I even wanted to let you talk to me. Don't even come over here.
You glad that I'm talking to you.
Nah, man. Don't talk to me.
You
don't
know
touch
you,
my sneakers.
You know you in the doghouse.
I don't care.
All right?
I don't care. I'm comfortable
You
in
don't
there.
have to care.
I'm comfortable in there.
Well, that's a shame.
Doghouse like
This
it's
is
like
going to
a
be a
man cave.
doghouse like no other doghouse. You know what I'm saying,
I mean,
dog?
I got beer, Crown Royal, and a PlayStation in there. Think I care about doghouse?
What? In a
Hey.
PlayStation?
Yeah.
What the what?
Hey,
Huh?
should we leave?
Yeah, we can, just
Nah, because he going to need a witness.
Oh my goodness, that
He
is too
going to
funny.
need a witness to this brutal beat.
I kind of like her. She brought cookies, so yeah, I kind of.
Oh, no. Oh, you looking at my Lindens? Whoa, now. We got
She ain't sharing. She ain't sharing.
We got to talk. Now, see, you should have asked me for some tomatoes before I ate all of those.
See,
She'll
I'm
give you
I'm
some
allergic.
tomatoes and some spinach and some kale.
Yeah.
But she ain't sharing no cookies.
I'll hook you up the healthy way, but now
I can't
stop
do the,
looking
do
at
the
my
tomatoes.
Lindens.
I'm allergic.
She stank.
No, I'm not stingy like that. Of course you can have some.
Yes, you can. You know how Steppin with Marcus
Cookies.
J live from the Den. Legacy Internet Radio. Shout out to our sister Michelle K. She's listening
What up,
to us. She
Michelle?
said, "What's up to the fam?"
Pittsburgh.
She's also saying happy birthday to us at Legacy Internet Radio. So
Yes.
shout out to her. I teased the last segment coming into this one. What we're going to talk about here. And, you know, I said the name Nancy Reagan, Karrine Steffans, and Stephen A. Smith. We'll get to Karrine Steffans and Stephen A. Smith here in a moment. But I want to talk about Nancy Reagan. And, you know, a lot of our, you know, younger listeners are wondering, like, why do we want to talk about, you know, some old lady that just died? Well, there's a couple of reasons why I want to bring up Nancy Reagan. And what I want to do is I want to kind of just ask you guys, like, what your thoughts are about her. And there's a method to my madness and why I'm asking the question. But, you know, those of us who remember the 80s when she was the first lady, I got some very vivid memories of some of the things that she did. So that's why I want you to jump in here first. We've got the passing yesterday of former First Lady Nancy Reagan. Any thoughts on her?
You know, I'm a little sad sometimes when anybody passes, but no.
Nothing. Okay, I can dig it.
I'm a fresh 28, so
She said, "Who?"
So she was out of she was out of the office. She was already out of office when you were born.
right. I came in on like the late Bush era. So
Yeah, no, I can
Talk to me on that one.
well, I could dig it.
Anyone, I mean, you know, it's definitely a sad situation for anyone to pass away. But I'm going to quote Jay-Z when he said, I blame Reagan for making me to this monster. Then he said, I blame Oliver North and Iran-Contra. I'm just going to leave it there, you know. So it's definitely sad, you know, it's definitely a sad situation.
Yeah.
But
that's some real, like, that lyric is so dope because it's real. It's real, brother. You know who she is. You got any thoughts?
Yeah,
you know, she used to be the president.
Like she said, fresh 28, fresh 25. So we're not gonna get there with that one.
You said Nancy who?
You was born when we was bombing Kuwait.
Yeah, that's what I came about.
Yeah, you came about. Well, I think, you know, that's why I didn't allude to this, but I think many of us remember the whole "just say no" thing. That was Nancy Reagan, you know, when we're talking about just say no to drugs and stuff, which trips me out because her husband was like the biggest freaking drug dealer in the country.
and they had
What was
somebody.
his movie? Breakfast with Bonzo. What was that movie?
I don't know the movie. Was it what's the
The
movie?
movie with the monkey.
With the monkey.
What's the movie he had with the monkey?
Oh, it's about back in the 50s,
Yeah, it's
50s
probably
or
50s, 60s.
something like that.
What's the
Ronald
movie
Reagan
with
had
the
a movie
monkey?
with Monkey?
Yeah, wasn't Ronald Reagan? Is it the movie with the monkey?
I don't know what the hell you're talking
I think he.
Somebody help.
Oh,
Was it Reagan? Now correct me if I'm wrong. So was it Reagan with the one they had the black kids stand in front of the White House and sell drugs, and then had them arrested, and then was like, this is an issue. They are selling drugs. This is really an issue. It was like, dude, you paid the dude to do it.
I think it was. If it wasn't Reagan, it was the first Bush. It was one of this. But it was in that time frame.
Yeah,
It was in that time.
I you know, hashtag Marcus J. We getting a shout out from my sister Melanie.
Hey, Mel.
Up in the Shy. Melanie is listening to us right now. Reason why I wanted to bring it up, obviously, you know, anytime someone who is prominent in our country passes away, it becomes part of, you know, the discussion. You know, for younger folks who may not remember them, then you may not have that many comments on it, but you probably will have comments on the angle that I want to attach to Nancy Reagan's passing, which is how the Twitterverse decided to commemorate the passing of Nancy Reagan by attacking First Lady Michelle Obama. And there's a series of tweets, including Nancy Reagan fought drug use and AIDS, Michelle Obama makes bad school lunches every kid wants to leave behind. Rest in peace, Nancy Reagan, one of the classiest first ladies. Michelle Obama will not be in that category. Fitting, no comment from the President of the United States on Nancy Reagan's death because he's on a golf trip, which is not true because he did make a statement last night.
Right.
Easy prediction, neither Barack nor Michelle Obama will attend the funeral of Nancy Reagan. Let's see. When it comes to first ladies, this woman, Nancy Reagan, had class, as did Jackie Kennedy, unlike Michelle Obama. By the way, Michelle Obama is one of 3 first ladies to have a degree.
Right.
So a graduate degree, not an undergraduate, but a graduate degree. Mm-hmm. So I've always found it outrageous when people attack this woman. Mm-hmm. And when you use the passing of someone to attack someone else, I think I won't say what I think. Why don't you guys tell me what y'all think?
It's a cheap shot, and I guarantee you that all of these are disgruntled white people on
Exactly.
Twitter. Right, disgruntled
They're
white
only
people
doing
on
it because
Twitter.
she black.
I was
Right.
gonna say, yeah, that's the only reason they're doing it.
That's the only
'Cause she's
reason.
black first lady.
Exactly.
Now, I don't want to be
And
lazy with the argument, so
Right.
I need more than she's only doing it because she's black. That's too easy. Give
Yeah.
me more.
It really is just as simple as that. I mean, by now we know this. It really is just as simple as that. As soon as Obama got started running, because he's black, you know, we come with all these crazy things. As soon as the man got in the White House, they jumped at him because he's black. Now he got voted in again. They jumped at him still because he's black. They pick at the first lady because she's black. It's all because we're black. It really is just that simple.
So are we going to play the blame the white man game?
You know,
No.
it's
Are we gonna
not
play that
always.
game?
It's not even always just white people. I mean, we have some of our own who, you know, think some sort of way. So it's not that I'm pulling, you know, the race card or anything like that. But I mean, honestly, this shit is really just that.
You know, what's really frustrating about it is no matter what either Barack or Michelle would do, there will always be some sort of kickback. The lunch thing. Michelle Obama is an advocate for childhood obesity. We have so many kids that are born into type 1 diabetes or are looked at as they're going to grow into it by the age of 3. And that's something, you know, without diet or exercise that you will have for the rest of your life. So she's trying to, you know, navigate that. And it's not even with us in America. All these other countries, Paris, London, all the other that have they have greens on their lunch plate. And we got chicken nuggets and pizza and all that. And we're like, oh my gosh, Michelle Obama want to make us healthy. I can't stand her. Like, really?
How dare her?
How dare she love this country enough to make sure that the kids actually reach their 80s and their 90s, that they dance, that they get healthy. And no matter what she does. They had a problem with her being sleeveless a few years ago. Oh my gosh, she's showing her arms. Like people, you know.
They have a problem with everything.
Everything that she's done.
Maybe it's me, but this seems to be the most outgoing first family.
Absolutely.
And unfortunately for some, the most outgoing first family happens to be black. So everything that comes up is a criticism. You know, I mean, come on, y'all. Just hold on a minute, because his time is almost up. Y'all can relax and drink beer or moonshine or whatever it is you want to do. Make a bandana out of the flag. You know, whatever it is you want to do. But just hold on a minute. You know, give the man his time. We gave y'all people their time. You gonna sit back and you gonna wait until this time is over.
We gave y'all 43 times.
As soon as it's over, they'll never hear about Obama, Michelle.
No. No.
We getting a couple of hits to social media. Hakeem says hi to you.
Hey, babe.
To you. Michelle K is also shouting you out. And she says that the movie is Bedtime with Bonzo.
Yes, I have pulled it up, girl. Thank you.
She don't remember the movie, but she knows that's the name of it.
Yeah, it's Bedtime for Bonzo.
Seems so excited.
I was going to yell out Planet of the Apes.
Yeah. You know what I mean? I was going to say Mighty Joe Young up in this. I don't see it. There it is. Yeah, you know, it's a trip because I don't remember him as Ronald Reagan. I don't remember him as an actor. Obviously, we would be too young.
And he wasn't too bad.
But yeah, I hear he was a pretty decent actor. I don't remember seeing. But what I do know is that, you know, Ronald Reagan was the president. Excuse me, he was the governor of California when the Black Panthers rolled up on the Capitol with their guns, and they decided that, you know what, we're going to change these gun laws. We got these black people with these guns, and they changed the gun laws. And he was the governor who signed it. And I can't remember the name of the act. It was a guy who, I guess a congressman who signed the act, and I mentioned the act a couple of months ago when we had a similar discussion. But, you know, I don't want to make this about Ronald because he's been dead 12 years. It's more about Nancy Reagan and her passing, and, you know, by all accounts, she was a sweetheart. Just my own opinion. Okay. I've always found her to be a pleasant woman, a nice lady. I mean, you know, her husband was a demon, but she seemed to be a nice lady. And when he was old and senile, she held him down. Yep. Yeah. You know, so I mean, you can't really even be mad about that.
Well, didn't you say she ran the You said she was the one who kind of ran the presidency, right?
Well, he had Alzheimer's.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So you got to think about it. Reaganomics. You know, look at what it did.
Oh yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So
trickle down.
Right. So so for me, that's on her hands.
Yeah,
that's on her hands.
I don't know that we should overstate. I don't know that it would be fair to overstate her running the country, and that's one of the things that we all like to kind of say about her in eulogizing him. I'll give you an example. Like, I saw an interview a long time ago, and then now since she's passed, you know, the interviews come back up, where he was being interviewed, and clearly he didn't understand the question. He either didn't hear it or didn't understand it. And she was standing next to him, and she heard it, and she fed him the answer that he was supposed to give. Like, that's the kind of stuff that she would do. Like, I would say, you know, somebody would say, Marcus J., what do you think about, you know, Nancy Reagan? And then Jay would whisper in my ear, say that he was a jackass. That be Michelle. He was a jackass. You know, like, that's the kind of stuff that she was doing, but you got to also remember that he was 68 when he took office in 1981.
Yeah.
He was inaugurated in 1980. He was 68. Barack Hussein Obama turned 50 in the White House.
That's the issue they're having with Bernie.
Right.
That's the issue I have with Bernie. I ain't got no problem with socialism. Shit, Jesus was a Jewish socialist. So Jews and socialists cut the crap.
Yeah.
Your boy was a Jewish socialist.
Right.
So you got a problem with Bernie? Knock it off. Really
Right.
knock it off.
Right.
And so my issue with Bernie ain't that. My issue with Bernie is you 74.
Yeah, he's 74. You 74.
Yeah, that's my issue with Bernie.
Yeah.
My issue actually with all of them, and I don't want to go too far on this, but my issue with all of them is that they all old. Bernie's in his 70s. Hillary, if she's elected president, she would be she would turn 70 in the White House.
Mm-hmm.
Donald Trump would turn 70 in the White House.
Yeah.
Bernie would turn 75 in the White House.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then that leaves you Raphael and Marco.
The question if they make it a whole 4 years.
Yeah, exactly.
So I pulled up some funny Reagan quotes.
Okay.
So I got one. Honey, I forgot to duck.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Oh,
I remember
dang.
when that happened, when he got shot.
Oh,
Yeah.
dang.
Here goes one that's not funny, but funny. I'm not worried about the deficit.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about the what?
The deficit.
I ain't surprised.
Because it don't affect them.
It doesn't affect them. Yeah.
You're a 1%er.
Right.
Last
How
one.
many 1%ers was worried about the deficit?
Right.
They don't. You know what I always trip, man? I'm going to move on because I don't want to go too far on the
Okay.
politics thing. But you know what I always trip off of? The American people always vote for rich people to take care of poor people. Like, what the hell is that about?
Like, how you think they rich, fool?
You know who they need to root? You know
I
who
need
we
you to stay poor so I can stay rich.
Yeah,
Thank
but you
you.
know who we need. You know who we need to vote for. Like, we need to get the hood hero to run for president. You know what I mean? Like how Jesus stretched, a little bit of food and the whole hood ate. Everybody know Big Mama in the hood that fed everybody. She need to run for president.
But messing around with Bernie, Killer Mike gonna be his vice president.
Yeah.
There's gonna be Kool-Aid in the White House. Bernie
It's
gonna have a
already Kool-Aid
cookout.
in the
Bernie gonna have a
White House.
You can
cookout.
say what you want, but it's Kool-Aid in the White House.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
Right
know.
now.
Let's see President
Red
Obama now.
Kool-Aid.
He's kind of nudging him like when they had the show there for Ray
Right.
Charles.
Right.
And
He was cutting
and
up.
Usher was there, and was it for Ray Charles? Yeah. Yeah. Usher was there, and he had Charlene, Anthony Hamilton. Yeah.
Whoa.
Anthony Hamilton.
They name a song.
And the white people there.
You know,
said, "I know the song."
You know what trips me out though? What trips me out is you get black people who be like, he ain't did nothing for black people and all that kind of stuff. Like, hey, look, man, everybody got their own perspective.
Yeah.
Everybody has what they feel about, every president. I mean, I know based upon me having conversations with people, there were a lot of black people that voted for Ronald Reagan in 1980. Not so much in 84. Once they saw what kind of crook he was.
Yeah.
But in 1980, a lot of black people voted for him. Just like there's going to be a lot of black people that vote for Donald Trump. Let's not be fooled here by this. But you get people like, Obama. Really, honestly, what do you really expect? Like, did Kennedy decide, you know what, I'm going to hook up all the Catholics? You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to be the president for everybody. And
Right.
you can't overtly go and say, this is for my peoples. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't do that. But he acknowledges you when he can. And many of us miss the subtle stuff. Like,
Right.
it doesn't have to always be super like when he went up there and he sang Al Green, like, for real.
Right.
Yeah.
Amazing Grace.
Amazing, like,
Yeah.
for real. Like, when he,
That was a shout out, y'all.
it was a shout out, and what about the money that he's given to the HBCUs and the Affordable Care Act, which overwhelmingly helps, people
Right.
of color and things of that
Right.
sort. And so my issue more so is with black people. Homosexuals had a lobby and an agenda, and they went to him and was like, yo, this is what we need. So they got their stuff done. You know, where was the lobby that came from the black community or the Hispanic community or whatever community?
Right.
You know, these are the questions that I ask to those people who say, Obama ain't did nothing for black people. It's like, all right, whatever. Neither did George Bush, okay? And certainly neither did everybody's favorite first black president, Bill Clinton, who was probably the worst possible president
for black
people. You know what I mean? Like, I remember, and I got caught up in that nonsense like everybody else did.
He
played saxophone. Yeah. Think he black. No.
You know, it's funny that y'all bring that up. That was my 18th birthday. That night was my 18th birthday on Arsenio Hall. I remember watching it. It was my 18th birthday that night, and I knew that he didn't have to do nothing. I was going to vote for him. Like, seriously. He didn't have to do nothing but play that saxophone, and I was going to vote for him. But the point is, you got an electorate of 18-year-olds who are stupid. I was stupid. I probably would have voted for him knowing what I knew about what he was giving us at the time, but I had already made my mind up. Based upon that, and that's scary to me. Ain't no how Steppin, Marcus J, live from the Dan Legacy in that radio. We're getting a shout out from your sister Bella. She's checking in.
Hey,
Bella of Twi After Dark. She's listening. Her and the hubs are checking us out. They're listening to us right now on the TuneIn app. They're saying what's up to the fam. Wanted to say happy anniversary to their fam, Legacy Internet Radio. And so she's shouting you out, cute Boogie. She's saying what's up to you.
Hey girl, what you doing?
she's
Girl, send me a text.
What's up, Bella? That's the person you said being mean to about. That's what I'm mean to. We're very mean.
You mean
to
Bella?
Each other. Very.
For real?
Extremely.
Yeah.
That's what's up, man.
That's my girl, though. That's my girl. That's my girl, though.
Once you pick somebody to be mean to, that joint empowers you, man. You know what I mean? What?
You better cut it out right now.
I ain't cutting nothing out.
She's talking through her teeth. Did y'all see that?
Ain't nobody cutting nothing
Cut it
out. I'm
out.
gonna tell you something, man. When these mics go off, it's gonna be
And when it's and when it's that way, you know who wins. Right now, point your finger back this here way.
Which one? You're number one.
You gonna get it.
I am. I'm always good. Ain't no ask Steppin, Marcus J, live from Dead Legacy of that radio. Karrine Steffans, y'all.
Who I've been waiting to talk about?
She back at the news. Now,
She never left the news.
here's the deal. Here's the deal. Now, I've gone back and forth with. I've been going back and forth with a few sisters and a couple of brothers in social media on this one today. If y'all listening, let's get this completely introduced into the crew. And if you want to call up and offer your comment, by all means, the phone is open 804-402-2893. Basically, I'm getting this one from thegrio.com. Karrine Steffans, I always like to read the headlines first. She says, Oprah and Maya Angelou, quote, were hoes, but past shouldn't define success. Basically, where this came from was the people in social media giving her the business. Basically, a fan was very, very rude to her. And her response was, I look up to Oprah. I want to be a woman like Oprah, not you. Everything you do is tasteless. This is what the fan says to her. She responded,
there we go.
Your phone's ringing already. I'm going to finish this, and then I'm going to take this call. Caller, I see and hear that you're there. Hold tight for a second. Hold tight, caller. She responded, Oprah was a hoe. She was promiscuous after her rape. Admittedly, same story. More money doesn't erase truth. Caller, you're listening to Ain't No Half Step on Marcus J live from the den. Please turn your radio down and then tell us what's your name and what you want to get in on.
First of all, I think it's just rude that y'all sitting over there talking about me. Like, I can't hear you.
Y'all getting it now.
Who this?
It's rude and inappropriate. Y'all know I don't feel good, which is why I'm not there. It's not right. It's just not right.
Who this?
No, who this? You know who it is.
Is this Bella?
It's your girl, Bella Twi After Dark. What's going on?
Y'all gonna get it.
How did I know? My psychic ability was like, she about to call in.
But you do realize that you're not scurrying nobody, right?
You ain't got to be scared to get your hind parts warm.
What's up, girl, man?
Tell him again.
Hi.
So now we got
back.
Twi After Dark on the air on Ain't No Half Stabbing with Marcus J. Last night,
Finger gun.
Bella and Q Boogie debuted their show right here on Legacy Internet Radio.
Very good, too.
And they had the biggest premiere that we've had in well over a year. They had the biggest number that we've had on the station in 3 months. And
say it
it's
again,
because
biggest
of
premiere
how
that you had in
dope.
well over a year.
It's the biggest premiere that we've had in over a year. and it was the biggest show airing rating that we've had in 2016. So that's attributed to how dope y'all are, how you made sure that social media and your fans from where y'all used to be knew how to find y'all. So now that I have y'all both in the same place, before I go back to making fun of you and picking on you, I'm going to say something nice by saying that, Bella and Q Boogie, y'all dope. Twi After Dark is dope. I appreciate y'all being down with us. That's all the nice stuff I'm going to say.
I receive all of that.
So now, Bella, can I go back to picking on you now?
No, wait till I feel better.
Oh, okay. All right.
Don't worry, I got you.
I ain't gonna wait. You
don't worry, I got you.
Yeah.
You know what, Bald Wonder? I was so nice and talking about you last night, and you just did it so dirty just now.
They did talk about you.
Yeah.
Hey, Bella, have you heard about this Karrine Steffans story?
Is we talking about this foolishness what she called Oprah and Maya Angelou slut?
Well, let me complete. Hold on, because I want you to get. I'm going to have you comment first on this. I'm going to get your comment on this first because basically she had a fan that said that she looked up to Oprah. She wanted to be a woman like Oprah. Everything that she does is tapes. So there's a fan saying to Karrine. Karrine responds that Oprah was a hoe, and she hashtags Oprah. Not hashtags, but she ats Oprah. She ats Oprah. Oprah was a hoe. She was promiscuous after her rape. Admittedly, same story. More money doesn't erase the truth. And then there's more. Let's see. Maya Angelou was a prostitute. A woman's sexual organs, their functions or reputations will not define or stop her. You revere great women, but give no credit to their sexual traumas and repercussions for making them stronger, better, wiser women. Take a long, hard look at our strong, honorable black women and see how their sex plays a part in their stories. These women are the best proof that where we start isn't always how we end up, and their sexual past has nothing to do with their purpose. Caller, I see you. I got another caller on the line. Hold tight. Second caller will bring you in. Bella, you hear this? What's your thoughts while I have you here on the line?
I don't really put much stock in Karrine Steffans. Like, this is a woman who has made her living off of the basically having sex with celebrities. Like, I don't put too much stock into anything that she really has to say. I briefly read an article about it, but she I just can't. I can't with her.
You can't with her. No,
I just can't with her. Like, it really doesn't even require any type of discussion. Like, who are you for real? First of all, who are you? Who are you to be coming at Oprah for something of that nature, or Maya Angelou? Like, you're not even remotely on the same type of playing field. Stop it.
She should get advice on how to keep it on
I
the
can
DL.
dig it. I can dig it. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. Bella, one more time. Tell us who you are and where they can find you.
We will be every Sunday night, 6 to 8 p.m., Legacy Internet Radio, Twi After Dark, me and my girl Q Boogie. Hey, Q.
Hey, girl, hey.
Girl, go.
Hey.
Remember what I told you earlier? You need to get you some chamomile.
I got it. That's why I'm in the bed.
Get you some chamomile. Get you some Crown Royal, and then chill.
Crown Royal apple.
And hopefully you feel better real soon. All right.
All right. Love y'all.
All right. We love you too.
Feel better.
Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. live from the Den Legacy Internet Radio. We had a lot of movement on that subject here in social media, and I think one of those folks is listening now. Turn your radio down, DJ Renee Melendez. We see you calling back. Before I have you jump back into the discussion, shout out to our sister Priscilla. She's listening to us in Jersey.
Hey, baby.
She is saying happy anniversary and happy birthday to us here at Legacy Internet Radio. Of course, Priscilla is a long-time listener and a contributor here to our show, and so we got love for her, and we appreciate her. We look forward to having her back on the show as she does the great things with Joe Pre in New Jersey and beyond. Renee, we got you back on the line. You and I have been going back and forth on this one for a good portion of the day. Jump in here, make your statement, make it plain.
like Bella said, I put no stock in Karrine Steffans because this is a woman who made her living and became famous equally to Kim Kardashian. She was a Kim Kardashian before Kim Kardashian was famous. Okay, she made a living off of being a video vixen, being a hoe, sleeping with celebrities, fellatio tutorials, writing books about who she slept with, and her conquests and stuff like that. And when you look at Oprah and you look at Dr. Maya Angelou, like you said, everybody has a past and everybody does things that they, regret or whatever, experiences, whatever. But the point is that you grow and you grow beyond those experiences and you build something. And so Dr. Angelou became, this world-renowned poet, and Oprah Winfrey became this media mogul. Okay, chick, you 40-something years old, and you still in the same spot you was in when you wrote, 2004, 2005. So what exactly are you doing? I don't see you, uplifting yourself or becoming, a video director or writing books against domestic violence, because she was a product of domestic violence ever since she was a young girl. So I don't see her writing anything or trying to do anything to help young black girls or to uplift her community. Instead, she's in this glass house throwing stones while she's been pregnant by 5 or 6 different people over the past 2 years.
Right.
Now she's married to crazy-ass Columbus Short.
Oh, my God, really?
That's a mess.
No, I can dig it.
Yeah, they got married.
But
they got married a few months ago. Her and Columbus Short, right after he got thrown off the scandal, they got married.
They got married. Here's my response to that, though. I don't think that there's ever, a time where we should throw stones at folks who are throwing stones. Like I'm not going to call somebody out their name because I disagree with their lifestyle. Just because they happen to be somebody who's doing things that ain't cool, for me personally, I'm not built that way. And this whole story came from the fact that somebody came at her and was being nasty. And she basically, in her defense of herself, which I don't think that her defense of herself was an appropriate defense.
Yeah.
I don't know that you call out two of the most, I don't know if famous is the right word, but maybe accomplished is probably a better word. Sisters in our knowledge, Oprah and Maya Angelou is the right way that you go about that. But I don't think that she said anything that was factually inaccurate. Oprah did have issues.
Okay, it might not have been factually inaccurate, but if you want to pick an argument with somebody, pick an argument with somebody that's alive.
Hold on a second. I'll finish. It's not factually inaccurate. And so, Oprah is on record of saying these are the things that I've done. Right. And, Maya Angelou's story is, I don't agree with, like you said, picking on somebody that's not here. But again, it's not factually inaccurate. And her story is still yet to be told. It's not over yet. And so this person was someone who was defending themselves. I'm not a fan of the things that she's done. I didn't read her books. I don't think that it's okay that you're Kim Kardashian in 2016 yesterday posting a picture on Instagram of your naked ass. Like, that's whack to me. And Karrine Steffans and the things that she did were whack to me as well. But where my deal is, people coming at her. They coming at her and coming at her. And at some point, you're going to say, you know what?
There was something that perpetuated
enough.
that's not being told, though.
Okay, tell me, school me what I don't know about.
I mean, I'm just saying that, like as a fan, you're in the entertainment industry, okay, and as a fan, you go and approach somebody, and granted, she's not like going to approach, Kim Kardashian or Angelina Jolie or Angela Bassett or anybody like that. She was a video hoe. She's not. You know what I'm saying? She's not an Oscar nominee. She's not an Oscar recipient. So what I'm saying is there's probably more to that story than what's being told, because somebody might have just, approached her very politely, and might have said something nice to her, and she got dismissive, and then they snapped. Which that I've seen that happen before.
Yeah, I mean, but we can say mites.
Not that it's right.
We can say mites.
There,
and we
there
can
could
say
be
critics,
a
but we
bunch
don't
of
know.
reasons.
Well,
but what I'm
know
saying
that.
is that there was something that had to have perpetuated that exchange to come out negative, that she needed to reference Oprah, who wasn't there and had nothing to do with it, and a deceased person.
No, no.
You read what it was.
Right.
He read what it was, DJ. You know, the fan had a negative comment to say, and she just didn't like it, and that was her way of lashing out by bringing other people in, because the fan who lashed out at her, or unfan, said that they didn't want to be like her, they wanted to be like Oprah.
Yeah.
So she felt insulted and decided that she was going to lash out at Oprah and Dr. Angela, who, you know, had nothing to do with what was going on with this little thing. This was hers.
And she wasn't even the one that initiated that name.
Yeah, so.
And I think that this was more, I don't want to say lashing out. I think lashing out is the wrong way to make it. I think that.
Absolutely.
I think what happened, I'm not a fan of Karrine Steffans, never have been a fan of Karrine Steffans. But I see what she's doing, and I understand what she's doing. And, you know, I prefaced this yesterday, I'm going to preface it again. I'm a feminist, I'm also a womanist. So I'm going to go hard for women no matter what. Even if we wrong, I'll be like, hey, girl, nah, bruh. But if you're wrong, you're wrong. But if you're right, you're right. And unfortunately, when it comes to stuff like this, Maya Angelou talked about what she did, what she chose to do. If you look at it, she graduated from being a prostitute to a freaking madam, to be able to get to what she is, to be able to feed her children. And her mother knew about these things, and her mother was like, you know what, you got to live your own life. I don't know a whole lot. I know way more about Maya Angelou's story than I know about Oprah's. But unfortunately, especially us as black women, we don't get to tell our dark secrets, our past. And even when you get to that space of fame and money and notoriety, you forget about that, and you go, well, you know, we don't know about Oprah anything before The Color Purple. It's like, but no, she do got life. She had a life. She had a life before that. And even though I don't agree with the wording that she used, the words hoe and slut can still be inflammatory, but they've also lost a little bit of their luster ever since, you know, women like Amber Rose and other people have taken the word back, and I use that in air quotes. So even calling a legend a hoe and a slut is like, all right, you did push it just now. But I understand her mindset when it comes to that, because so many people, we love to tear down each other and go, well, you a hoe, and that's why I want to be like, well, oh, you didn't know she had hoe tendencies too? We're not going to talk about that? Oh, because this person is a great, we're not going to bring that up. And what I love so much about Maya, I'm a poet. And Dr. Maya was the reason why I became a poet. I sat in the middle of Tropical Smoothie and cried my eyes out when I found out she died. So I understand, but I've
actually heard her speak live.
See,
I did. I went to in Waterbury, Connecticut. She did a lot. She read her poetry and she told her life story there.
Right.
And I'm not arguing the fact that she did what she did to take care of her family. And I'm not arguing what Oprah did. What I'm saying is as a woman and as a human being, when you're going to reference somebody who has nothing to do with the argument that you're having with a third person, okay, you need to make sure that your stuff is correct, okay? She's been in the media countless times over the past few years, pregnant by Lil Wayne, pregnant by the dude from Power. She was pregnant by Bow Wow at one point. You know, she married Columbus Short. Like, she's been all over the place. And she's been around in the entertainment industry long enough to have a video vixen. And that book was a New York Times bestseller book, okay? She earned enough money and got herself placed. She placed herself strategically, but she could have done more. But instead of taking her negative story, because it started out as a negative, and turning it into a great positive, she hasn't done that. You don't see her out here, and she's always on social media. She's always in something on social media. So you don't see her taking her negative and turning it into a positive like the people she referenced. We all do things that we're not proud of, but you take your negative experiences and you know, hopefully most of us grow from them and build on them. Don't make the same mistake twice, and maybe help somebody else who might be troubled and might try to veer down that path and say, no, you know, that's not the right move.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? She's not, you know, I haven't. I've never heard of her working with young girls, you know, young girls in abusive relationships with boys boys and boyfriends and husbands and stuff like that.
Because you haven't heard it doesn't mean that she hasn't done it. I'm gonna cut it short because I think we all kind of understand each other's positions. But because we haven't heard her doing that doesn't mean that she doesn't do it. I think I'll stand by my position on she was attacked. I don't necessarily agree with the fact that she cited these folks, but at the same time, I understand it. I'm personally not one that's ever going to be okay with attacking folks, especially when I'm not in their stuff. So, that's pretty much what the gist was when we were going back and forth earlier on today. I'm just not going to be the one that's going to call her things and that sort of thing, even if her behavior is such that that's a common phrase for what she's been doing. And I don't think that we disagree on that. I don't think we disagree on her behavior warranting some of the things that folks are calling her. I'm just saying that me personally, I'm going to step above that fray. I'm not going to call it that. Just like with Kim Kardashian, for an example, and I'll say the last thing on this, and before we move on to Stephen A. Kim Kardashian had her past. She got married. She had a couple of kids. People still shitting on her. I mean, at the end of the day, when is it going to be a situation where, you know what, I was pretty damn stupid when I was young. I did a lot of things that was inappropriate when I was young. I do some dumb stuff now, but can I live? Can I live without people really, really being in my stuff, and calling me everything except for my name? At some point,
right.
Everybody deserves that, even if they make poor choices. And that's kind of all I'm saying. And so I don't disagree with, I never disagree with what you were saying and what the other folks in the blog were saying. And what the other folks who I've seen in social media say, I don't necessarily disagree with it. I'm just saying I ain't going to call her nothing outside of Karrine. I'll just leave it at that. One last time, what's your name? Where can we find you?
It's DJ Renee Melendez. You can check me out Saturday nights from 7 to 9 p.m. Deep House Sessions with DJ Renee Melendez, only on LegacyInternetRadio.com.
My sister, appreciate it. Keep on listening, because knowing what I got on the rest of the agenda, we may hear from you again, and the phone is always open for you, all right?
All right, talk to you later.
All right,
Bye.
Peace. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. Live from the Den, Legacy Internet Radio. Last thing I want to get to in this segment is my man, Stephen A. Smith. Now, I don't often get into Stephen A. Smith comments and stuff on this show, but this was something I felt like we needed to make sure that we got into. This one is about the speech that he gave at South Alabama, and he told them that racism doesn't exist. Obviously, I'm lying. Now, the headline says racism doesn't exist, and that is what the media picked up, and that is the reason why the story has gone viral. The reason why I wanted to bring this up, not so that I could defend Stephen A. Smith or anything else, I just wanted to bring it up because I wanted to see what y'all thought, listeners as well as crew alike. His quote, and this is his full quote: racism doesn't exist. Obviously, I'm lying. Of course it exists, but not for you. See, you don't have to go to the back of the bus. You're not denied the opportunity to eat at restaurants or to enter nightclubs or to patronize businesses. You have the right to vote. You're not being lynched. You're not being hung. This is what he said according to the student newspaper, The Vanguard, which recorded the speech. He went on to acknowledge that older black students do suffer racism, saying in part, "You're older, you know I'm not talking about you, but youngsters, you need to understand that white folks got problems too. Some of them can't pay their bills. Some of them are struggling. Some of them are being denied opportunities, and you need to understand that, because when you are going through their own problems, then you are not going to lament what your trials and tribulations are." End quote. Yeah, it's a lot to respond to that, brother. I definitely want, because I can see how you're looking at me right now. So I want you in on this one first.
I get tired of the older generation saying that we don't know what, and I get what they would say, that I didn't firsthand experience it. However, let's look at it. The Jim Crow era and desegregation, that was not, my mother's 55 years old. You know, she experienced that. She was born in 1960. So that's not too far-fetched. those ideas were still passed down. You get what I'm going? So I do understand that white people have issues as well, but this almost seems like saying all lives matter. This is what it feels like. Basically, it's saying all lives matter. And you can't keep saying that. We already got it. Basically, we have enough people against us as young blacks. I don't need you against me. Period. I don't know what it's like to if I go to college, I don't experience racism. Yeah. That's a lie. What's the school that they were just marching and they had those issues?
30 black.
Was it in Missouri? It was in Missouri.
I think it was
right.
in Missouri.
So do you tell them they didn't experience racism? Do you say that because there are still people being lynched now, presently in Kansas, in Kentucky, in places like that.
You can go to the FBI statistics, and you can see that what you just said is fact.
Absolutely.
Fact. People get lynched in America. Absolutely fact. And I appreciate you making that statement, brother, because the truth of the matter is I think we're all guilty of thinking that our generation is the definitive generation while we're still living. With me being a little bit older than you guys, I was born in 1974, and some of my favorite people were born in the 60s. And
what you looking over here for?
I was trying to be tactful, but since you want to call yourself out, I mean, you just a tad past baby boomer status. You just barely made it to us Gen Xers, but it's all right. But it's all right. Yeah, I love it. That's why I get to pick on her. But for real, like when I talk to,
I'm gonna run you over.
When I talk to my mother, who was born in the 40s, and my father, who were both born in the 40s, I listen to their perspective, particularly about things like Malcolm X and the Black Panthers. I know how I feel about them as a historian. I mean, I was born 9 years after Malcolm was murdered by his own people. And I hear stories about how they didn't care much for Malcolm X, at least, people in my family didn't care much. Like my brother K-Dub, who I grew up with in Jersey City, he lives in Atlanta now. He listens to our show a lot. And he tells a story about how Martin Luther King spoke at his church in Jersey City like a year before he was murdered by the United States government. And there are a lot of people who didn't want him there. They didn't want him there because they felt like he was a troublemaker. So when I see statements like this with Stephen A. Smith, I heard him this morning on Joe Madison's show on Sirius XM. And he attempted to clarify some of these statements. And his clarification made a whole lot of sense. But at the end of the day, you can't take back the quotes that you made. Like when you say something, once you said it, you can go back and clarify all you want, but it's like, but dude, you already said it.
Right.
It's
already
done.
out
You
there.
already said it. Like I don't have a problem with the first piece of his statement
Not at all.
when he said, racism doesn't exist. Pause. Obviously, I ain't got no problem with that because he did that for dramatic purposes. But when you telling a room full of young black people, and trying to connect their plight with that of their white brothers and sisters,
Right.
I think you're doing them a disservice by connecting it. And I think that it's unfair that I even feel that way because everybody should be equal. But the reality is our situations are different. The way we were raised are different. Doesn't mean that, they're better than us and we're better than them. None of that means anything. But I think that we need to learn to embrace the differences
Absolutely.
instead of being fearful of them.
Absolutely.
Because that's why we talk the way we talk on this show. And I know it's white folk that listen. I've had white folk in the studio. I've had white folk that are afraid to have this conversation with me. And I've had white folk that embrace this conversation with me. But I think we need to have it. We just need to have it, man, because as we walk around afraid to talk and saying things like, we keep talking about it, it's just going to make it, no.
Talking doesn't make it any worse.
Right.
Not at all.
If anything, it can make it better.
Right. You have to acknowledge it.
I have to talk to you
Absolutely.
because if I don't talk to you, I don't know what's on your mind.
Absolutely.
If I don't talk to you, I don't understand that me being 42 and you being 25, we come from different generations. Our perspectives are different. And we are black men. There are certain things that we're going to have in common just because we're black men. There's certain things that I'm going to have in common with a 42-year-old white man just because we're men. Mm-hmm. But there are going to be differences with me and him because he's a white man. Right. And there's going to be differences with you and me because you're 17 years younger than I am. But doesn't mean that it has to be a problem. Right. And I think we make it a problem by acting like it ain't. Exactly.
Yeah. Right.
The only reason why it's a problem is because I call it like it is. You know, everything that
you don't have stuff.
Everything that's been that's true too, and everything here, even to the way we act, has been to make white people comfortable.
Yes.
So we've been taught how to be them and how to understand them, but they've never been taught how to understand us. You know, so if we walk differently, like they say, hey, that's inappropriate, you know, back on the block. No, brother, that I really come from, it's cultural. You got to think it's regional and it's cultural, so we're going to break that down. So this is where I come from. So you have to understand that, you know. So all my life I've been trying to fit in to get in with you, but you've never tried to understand me. Yep. Yeah, and it's sad that you get brothers like that. You know, it's that, you know, the moment you're black and a brother, and you become, because sisters are on it. I'm just gonna be real. Sisters are, they getting their education. They starting a business. They are on it. But brothers, it's with the moment you get educated, you're a commodity. And even still, you go, man, I have my degree from Cornell. I'm black. I don't have any kids, and I'm a commodity. I'm hot, and you want me. And then you start to look down on everybody else. And I respect you, brother, for your degree, for your knowledge, for you pursuing everything and what you have done and the obstacles you have overcome. I respect you. However, you can't look down because somebody gave you a chance. Somebody gave you a chance. And then you get away, DeRizza. You get away from those places, and then you say all lives matter. And you say, you out here wearing hoodies and jeans and just hanging out. Do I gotta remind you that you and your crew introduced one side braided, the other side not with Tim's? And do we gotta remind you this? You know, just because this happens, you have to remember these things, and that happens, and then they leave us behind. So you get in with white people, and versus saying, hey, let's bring awareness to what happened. You see that guy? Mm-hmm. I was him, and look at me. Really, you were that guy? Yeah, let me tell you how it was like. Yep. And then we might be able to make a difference. But we can't do that if you feel yourself you're different or you're a commodity.
Right. Mm-hmm. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I mean, I the way you articulated that was just about as perfect as
Wyatt has spoken.
Yeah, man. I'm just so glad that you said that. I'm so glad that you said it the way you said it, because, you know, especially the part when you mention all lives matter, because, you know, we are, you know, bilingual is the word that's coming to mind, but I guess bicultural is probably a better way to think of it, because there is culture that we have being Americans. There's American culture that everybody has. Right. But then there's also a culture that you may have based upon your own individual community that is universal. Just like I was having a conversation with someone recently, and please forgive me, I can't remember who it was, but we were talking about things that we experienced as young people in different places. And the person I was talking about was from, I believe it was, and I can't remember who I was having this conversation. I'm sorry, I can't. But we were talking about, actually I do remember, I was at work. And I was talking to a black girl and a white girl. And we were talking about things as simple as, you remember when we were coming up and they said that, you know, alligator in the toilet. Remember the alligator in the toilet thing? You remember that?
Keep your lids down.
Keep the lids down. It was
Yep.
an alligator in the toilet. And then you remember
coming up
through the sewer system. You remember that?
Yep.
That's like universal. Like, you know, you had a white girl and a black girl, both from Richmond, and you had a black dude from New Jersey. And we all kind of grew up with that. It was kind of like a little weird thing, and we attributed that to the 1980 movie Alligator. That's where it came from. But we had that. It was cultural. But there's certain things that white folk just ain't going to understand about us. And there's certain things that we just ain't going to understand about them. But it doesn't mean that they're right. And it doesn't mean that we're wrong.
You know, even his examples were sucky. Like,
Yeah.
You know, I mean, our issues way